What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Stocks by the Numbers. And obviously, I just wanted to start off and just say that another rough day here in the markets. We're pulling back. Supposedly, I know the S&P, I believe, had support around 38.55. We broke that level, sitting here at about 38.30, making a little bit of a rally back, but in my opinion, it's probably not going to happen. We're probably going to continue to see red. And I just wanted to take a look at Apple here because, Apple is essentially holding up the S&P 500 right now. It has a massive market cap, and it's a highly weighted average stock. So, this is a company that everyone's looking at to see, is this going to be able to hold the levels, and the markets are going to stabilize here, and we're going to see a little bit of a rebound, or is Apple going to break down and just take the SPY with it? And basically, what I'm seeing here is, it's not the worst level that we could see. However, again, I just want to remind you guys, when the shit hits the fan, like what we're seeing here, and we have these massive volatile sell-offs and pullbacks, again, what traders look for is overvalued companies that have been overinflated, hyped up, big PEs, huge market cap to revenue comparisons, and then they jump on board and completely crash them. Just like even down here, Tesla right now down 9.5%, 10%. Believe it or not, it's justified. There's a lot of people saying next support is down at 600, and if it breaks that, we might even see around a $400 mark. But I didn't really want to talk about Tesla. I wanted to talk about Apple today, sitting here at 134. And, we got a healthy EPS on the company. We got a PE close to about 22. Beta's a little over 1, and look at this market cap, though, 2.1 trillion, okay? And the only thing that bothers me about a situation like this is if we come down here, look, healthy beats on the EPS side. This is an annual chart. You can see revenues growing, big explosion here in 2021. Over the quarters, had a good quarter back here, roughly 124 billion in revenue, decent earnings off that also. And listen, it might still be a growing company. I know they're consistently coming out with new products and new services, and it's a brand name company, so everyone loves to jump on board and grab their products and, sync everything together. And I understand. I completely appreciate the appeal of a company like Apple. However, even with the breakout year it had last year, this is 2021 revenues we're looking at here, 365 billion. Right? Decent earnings off that. But at the same time, with a $2.1 trillion market cap, we're talking what, roughly 7 times earnings? 7 times revenue. We'll just round it up, roughly 7 times revenue. And, I have to be honest, a lot of people out there are saying that they like Apple at these levels. And this is the kind of BS that I was talking about. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you tell me, if we all wake up Monday and the markets are down this much again, Apple will most likely pull back. It's not just going to bounce up off these levels and retrace back to 140, 142, just because it's been selling off and it's viewed as undervalued. Because at the end of the day, it is slightly overvalued. The only thing that's really keeping it up is that it's a brand name tech company. And here at a PE of close to 22, this can easily pull back. If it wasn't a tech company, it probably would have gotten beaten up even more. Because as I showed in a lot of other videos, there's multiple stocks out there with very, very low PEs. But we know that tech, when the markets were healthy, if we look at companies like Apple, Nvidia, AMD, these companies have healthy PEs, 25, 30, 40 PEs. And again, these are the type of things that these bear traders look for. There's a reason why AMD sold off that much. There's a reason why Nvidia has been pulling back. Because they pulled it up so much. Zoom. We saw what happened with Zoom. Getting destroyed. And again, the reason why this is happening is because they take these stocks to the highest heights. And then when the volatility hits, unfortunately, a little bit before that is when the average retail investor gets in. Because they see how healthy and how stable and how much consistent growth is happening in these big tech companies. So they're like, oh, this is a safe place to park my assets. And then boom, the whole market corrects and you get screwed. You're holding the top and now it's approaching a bottom. So again, just like with any stock, like we know, A very vague statement here, but it has a 50% chance to move higher, has a 50% chance to move lower. But again, if the markets are down again Monday, Tuesday, which in my opinion, I think we might be. I really think these analysts on TV that are telling you that this is just like, the average correction and, you might want to step in. There's a lot of brand name companies that are trading at discounts. Let me tell you something. If these markets pull back Monday, Tuesday, this stock can easily pull back to 125, 120. And if we look over here, that would be a new 52-week low. And believe it or not, it would be justified. Because they're trading 7 times revenue right now with a PE north of 20. And again, they can easily bring this down to like 1.2, 1.5 trillion even. And this PE could pull back to 17, 16, 15. It could happen. Just because it's Apple Computer does not mean it has to go higher. So, I know I'm only looking at a handful of numbers, and I know if you go on YouTube, there's so many stocks and investing channels now. People are analyzing the charts and stuff. But remember, that technical analysis, in my opinion, is more for trades. So right now, if there's a pattern setting up, if it's bouncing off a trend line, yes, of course, it could be up a little bit next week, and you can make some money in the short term if you buy shares today or if you jump in on some speculative calls, perhaps. But at the end of the day, you have top analysts and chief economic strategists over at JP Morgan and these big banks. They're all saying that, we might have a potential recession coming up here. And if these markets continue to pull back, I just want to give you guys a heads up. Because if you step into a brand name company like this, where everywhere you look, they're telling you it's trading at a discount and this is a good price and, you might consider wanting to step in here, just like I explained. If this starts to pull back to sub 130, 125, 120, it is justified because they are overvalued. If we do the private sector rule, if this was a private company, usually the private sector rule is 2.5. So 2.5 times total revenue. So if you came to me with this company and said, oh, look, we're growing. Last year we made $365 billion. Okay, 2.5 times that is roughly what? 900 billion, maybe a trillion? And look at our market cap, 2.16 trillion. So it's over double what the company would be worth in the private sector. And I just want you to keep that in mind because, again, if there is volatility moving forward, if we are potentially going into a recession, it's going to be these big brand name tech companies that have been overinflated and tied to a hot air balloon taken higher that are going to really start to pull back and potentially hurt retail investors like yourself and myself. So I just wanted to make a quick video just recapping the market and looking at a brand name company like Apple because, again, just because it's a brand name, just because some analyst somewhere said that this is a good entry, remember, a lot of this information that they put out on TV and a lot of these articles that these people publish here on these websites for the quote-unquote stock news for guys like you and I to look at, a lot of it sometimes is misinformation. And remember, if a stock like this is in free fall, they have to make it a priority to have people like you and myself step in and buy shares and buy calls to potentially and temporarily keep the stock up. Because see, right now, look, it's down less than 2%. And why is that? Because there's people out there who are accepting this news and they're stepping in and they're buying shares right now. They're saying, what? Apple sub 135? That's a phenomenal price. I'm going to step in. And again, like I said, again to reiterate, this thing could easily pull back to 120, sub 120, hit new 52-week lows. And, not only is there going to be continued selling pressure on the overall indices, in my opinion, but again, Apple is a huge weighted part of the S&P 500. So if this company begins to pull back and the markets continue to pull back, it is just going to be a chain reaction effect. And you're going to see the SPY start to fall off a cliff. And Apple is going to be one of the main reasons why the SPY is falling off a cliff. And obviously, it's going to continue to drop and potentially hit new lows. So once again, this is Stocks by the Numbers. Just wanted to give you a quick overall view of a company like Apple Computer. Moving forward, I hope everyone is successful. I hope everyone makes a couple of dollars. I know today's a rough day. I have my personal Discord in the description if you guys want to come in, if you want to BS, if you want to talk about Apple or another stock or the weather. I don't care. I'm here for all of you. And, thanks for stopping by. And I hope everyone has a good day.